Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm your host, Michael Cohen, along with new Papa Ben Meiselas, who's returning from diaper duty. Ben, give us the update, my brother. Give us the update.
The update, beautiful baby girl, Jimena. We're home right now. We spent 5 days at the hospital. So incredible. My wife is amazing, making my job easier than it should be. Knock on wood right now. She's been absolutely incredible. I want to thank, you for holding it down, Michael Cohen. My brother Brett did a very good job. I heard some of the little beat down pot shots you got took at me, but I know it was out of love there at the beginning. I was watching every day, and I want to thank all the beat down brigaders as well for all of your support. You've all sent so much love my way and my wife's way and our family's way. And we're so grateful for this.
For extending your family and giving you the greatest blessing in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get into it. I'm excited to be back. The baby's a little bit, just like 20 feet away. So if you hear a baby cry, you're just going to have to deal with it right now. That's the new normal here on the Midas Touch Network. You don't get that.
Right, frankly, we don't have any problems when we hear babies cry. Now, you really think that we want to hear a baby crying during the show?
Let's get into it. Let's talk about the debate this evening. It's the vice presidential debate. You've got Governor Walz. You've got J.D. Vance. Donald Trump's already out there giving interviews on Fox with Kellyanne Conway, who apparently has a Fox show now or something, or held a special with him. It's just all propaganda. But what do you think Donald Trump's saying? It's going to be rigged. It's going to be unfair. Then Donald Trump goes that he's like, I'd want to debate again, but it's going to be rigged against me. Just you watch what happens here. Play this clip.
And I just believe when you see the end of that debate, are you going to let that be the last word of presidential debates of this season, end of your career, or are you going to want one more?
I would love to have 2 or 3 more debates. I like it. I enjoy it. But they're so rigged and so stacked. You'll see it tomorrow with JD. It'll be stacked.
You also heard her say there, end of your career. I think she thinks he's going to lose, too.
Look, let me be clear. Right now, they're on the 25th floor at Trump Tower. They're in the hallway as you walk from the lobby on, again, the 25th floor. That's the kids' floor to the kids' offices. I mean, that's where they're sitting right now in front of a bunch of photos, right, of different Trump properties, some of which aren't even his property anymore. I mean, either he lost the license or they just didn't even take place. I don't know. There's something just wrong with him. There's something really wrong with her. I mean, it's I don't know. I'm speechless on this one. I mean, it's just a typical Trump joke.
Let me get your thoughts on the debate this evening. What do you expect to happen? How do you think Governor Walz is going to perform? How do you think J.D. Vance is going to perform? Let's get your prediction.
So I think let me start with Shady Vance. All right. I think he's going to do a decent job. He's no dummy, and he's actually not like Trump. You've heard me say this when Ben was away, right, on baby duty, right? I turn around and I say that Trump is lazy, and he is. Trump refused to practice or prep for the debate going back into 2015, 2016. He refused to practice on any of the debates in 2020, and he refused again in 2024, which is why he did so shitty against someone like Kamala Harris. I don't believe that Shady Vance is the same. I believe that he's going to have and stick to his talking points. That's his downside. Not so much that he doesn't have talking points like Trump, where you ask him, how are you going to save Medicare, as you said? And he starts going into a tirade about electricity and fuel and drill, baby, drill. Tim Walz is going to be the same Tim Walz that we have seen since day number one. He is the eternal optimist. He's going to talk about America's unity, about bringing the country back, destroying the divisiveness, making sure that everybody has an opportunity to live the American dream. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be two very contrasting points. Shady Vance cannot get off of his points no matter what, because that's the questions that they're going to be asked. They're going to ask Shady, a question like, you've made the following comment, can you explain, why you believe, that 106% of all Black jobs are being taken by migrants. I mean, something like that. And he can't get away from it. Again, his constant rhetoric is always divisive, and it's filled with anger and hatred. And yes, I agree, he will probably be wearing eyeliner.
Let's play the latest ad from the Kamala Harris Governor Walz campaign on J.D. Vance today. Let's play it.
Trump's shuttle had already lost $128 million.
New York's Attorney General says Trump University swindled students.
Former CEO says, we literally sold almost no stakes.
His Truth Social stock has plummeted by 20%.
They think he's the worst. Weird,
twisted, creepy authoritarian.
A net negative favorable rating, making history in the completely wrong way.
J.D. Vance, American Vice Presidency.
Okay.
By the way, that last clip right there, our editorial team, Ron Filipkowski and others, were the ones who found that clip. That's when J.D. Vance couldn't order a donut. And he tried to say, hey, you know who I am? I'm J.D. Vance. And the person's like, okay, do you want this donut or do you not want this donut? I think that's
do you want the donut with sprinkles? What do you want it? What do you want it without? But, just imagine, and this is where they're kind of already setting up. I think a better example would be if they ask him a question about his comments about childless cat ladies or about the Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio. You see, listen, brigaders, here's what we all know. We all know that these topics are fair to ask. We're not the ones that said it, not Ben, not me. Shady Vance said it. All right, again and again and again. So why should they not be allowed to ask him what he means by a woman who doesn't have a child, doesn't have skin in the game of America, or turning around and talking about what information and how did you get the information on cats, dogs, and geese being eaten by Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio? They're going to take exception to that type of a question. But I think it's more than fair and reasonable. Look, the point is, if you say stupid shit, you should be called out on the stupid shit.
What do you think about whether or not there's going to be fact-checking? The debate will be on CBS. CBS had previously said that it would not do fact-checking. They gave a little bit more of an ambiguous statement today that they may do fact-checking with all of the lies that J.D. Vance tells. Do you think it's the role and responsibility of Governor Walz to fact-check, or should CBS and the moderators be fact-checking all of the lies that J.D. Vance is going to say? Because, I think, to your point, unlike Donald Trump, J.D. Vance is going to come prepared, but he's going to come prepared to lie. And yes, essentially every one of his responses is going to be a lie. He's going to lie about crime. He's going to say crime is at record highs when it's actually the opposite. It was record high when Donald Trump was in office. It's now at record lows. He's going to make comments about the American economy, GDP growth. He's going to make all of these statements when our economy is stronger than it's ever been before. He's going to make comments 4 years ago. He's going to say things were much better. Ask yourself where you were 4 years ago. We were all stuck in Trump lockdowns 4 years ago, watching mobile morgues on TV, not having toilet paper, wondering if we were going to live or die every day as Donald Trump gave these ridiculous press conferences over and over again, bragging about ratings and telling us to inject bleach. So where do you net out on where moderators should be in this discussion?
So my feeling is CBS, I believe, has an obligation to all of us as viewers to fact check. Otherwise, what the hell are they doing? You can have AI right now ask questions And you don't need a moderator. You don't need a human being. The whole purpose of having a debate is to have the pushback. We don't need somebody saying, well, your time is expired, sir. You're over your time. Nobody needs that. Cut the microphone, get the light to black out. You could do that all through technology now. But I do believe that Tim Walz is going to come fully prepared to this fight in order to offset the lies that we all know that Shady Vance is going to 100% start spewing. Now, he may not have them all. I still believe that it is CBS's responsibility. Again, if not, why not just have a bunch of nursery school kids doing it? It would be a lot cuter, right? Than having CBS. I understand that they're doing it for their own ratings. They're doing it for advertisement dollars and so on. And I'm all for everybody making their own dollar, but do your job. All right. It's up to the moderator, to the journalist. Otherwise, why not have the weatherman do it? Well, why not just have you, Ben, and I do it, right? Meanwhile, we would be fact checking all along. Could you imagine? You and I would be like on the computer, right? Hold on, time. Shady Vance. This is what I would deem the couch versus the coach. And as far as I'm concerned, you're full of shit. All right. And that didn't happen. And that's an absolute lie. Care to respond? Like, that's the way I think people want to see these debates going now. I think all decency for these debates are out the window. I think Trump destroyed that a long time ago.
You go back and you watch the debates between former President Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. And this was a high-level intellectual debate. They were getting into granular topics. And that's one of the things that I actually miss about politics. What I'd love to restore is having really super smart people have all of these deep discussions. And we saw Vice President Kamala Harris during the debate with Donald Trump. She articulated policies. But did you notice, too, that in all of these post-Trump era or Trump era debates, they've dumbed down also the debate as well, so that it's like 5 topics, because they know that if they ask a very specific question, Trump can't even answer them. So they basically ask like 5 generic topics that anybody could basically prepare for. It's like, what is your thoughts on reproductive rights? Go. And then Donald Trump will be like, they're eating cats and dogs. They're eating cats and dogs. And it goes off the rails so quickly.
Well, I'm all into reproduction. And reproduction is, like even with the furniture that I have at Mar-a-Lago, they're all reproductions.
Do you remember, going back to the Al Gore, even the Al Gore, George W. Bush debates, going back in the 2020 period, right? One of the things they were talking about, right, because Bill Clinton left us with a surplus, is that, remember, they were talking about what they were specifically going to do with the surplusage funds. And they called it like a lockbox. And what are you going to do with the lockbox? And it was very granular fiscal policy being discussed during the debate, because what politics used to be was we all were united as Americans. We had very deep disagreements, but we were proposing different plans, but within the same objective reality for how we would improve the country. And there were plans that were liberal. There were plans that were quote unquote conservative. And then there were plans that were quote unquote moderate. But to me, Donald Trump's thrown this entirely out the window, and we're no longer having those discussions. And to me, case in point is Hurricane Helene, or any type of disaster where we would normally all unite as a country. No one used to politicize natural disasters and make it into, a political campaign stop, and then to just lie about the important lines of communications of what FEMA is or isn't providing and just lie about it. But Donald Trump started yesterday doing the exact thing he did in East Palestine over and over again. There's a disaster. Donald Trump goes, Biden did it. It's Biden's fault. Biden's responsible for the hurricane. Biden's not reaching out to the governors. The Republican governors yesterday had to all come out with statements saying, no, we have all the resources that we need. This is a lie. But the lie spreads.
Yeah. Look, one of the other problems that you have with Trump is since he knows so little about anything, this is what he has to do. He has to make stuff up in order to try to make himself seem as if he's still actually involved in the know, educated on the topic. It doesn't matter what the topic is. Donald Trump doesn't know how to tell the truth on it. I mean, think about it this way. So you remember when, as an example, there was a hurricane, a Category 5, that was going to hit the coast of Florida, and he took his black Sharpie pen and he moved the entire hurricane off to the right, which would have put it in the middle of the ocean. And so, and they're like, yeah, but that's not really how weather patterns work, right? You don't get to take your Sharpie and move the weather pattern from reality to your delusion by simply doing it on a piece of paper. I mean, wouldn't that be nice? I mean, yeah, Sharpie Gate is right. These are the types of problems, and these are the things that, unfortunately, for J.D. Vance, and I do say unfortunate because I myself happen to be interested in hearing what sort of policies and positions that he intends on taking. Now, I'm certain that he and I don't agree on virtually anything, right? But I still would like to hear his positions on, whatever it might be. That's not what we're going to get. You're right. So many of the brigaders are saying the same thing that we're all thinking. Donald Trump managed to dumb down these debates. And so they're now playing into the dumbed down Donald debate. Wait, that's a good one. The dumbed down Donald debate. Hold on a second. Got to write that one down. That could be my next dumbed down Donald debate. That has to be one of my new YouTube shows. I kind of like it. The dumbed down Donald debate.
At the Michael Cohen Show, by the way, is your YouTube channel is a rocket ship right now as well. I think you'll be at 250,000 subscribers there in no time. Is everybody here? I want to look in the chat. Are you?
I'm almost at 200,000 right now. So look, so a lot of people are saying, "Wait, but we watched it, and you was talking about you were in Italy." I'm not. I am literally telling you. I walked through my front door at exactly 4:26. I was talking with Ben, who was sending me topics that we're going to be discussing with you guys today. I was happy to actually hear that he was coming back today. Not that I don't like Brett. I had a great time with Brett, but
you made those feelings very clear.
I did. And so literally at 4:26, I walked through the door, turned on the computer, and here I am. Right. So, yeah. So those of you who say, "How's Italy?" No, how was Italy is more like it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight's debate, only to hear what Vance has to say. I feel bad for Walz because he's going to have to be on the defensive the whole time, not to fall into the trap that Joe Biden fell into, which is not calling the lies for what they are.
Look, I want to talk more about it in a moment with you, but my view is Governor Walz needs to be Governor Walz. There's a reason why his favorability is significantly higher than J.D. Vance. I don't think you play in the mud with the pigs. You pointed out what the behavior is, but I think Governor Walz puts forward the types of visions that make people like him, right? He's unapologetic about being a public servant and using his positions and platforms to actually help people. There was a great statement that Governor Walz made in a recent speech where he said, J.D. Vance is out there bragging about how he likes to be ruthless. And Governor Walz said, why would you want to brag about being a ruthless person? When you're elected into these positions of power, you in the United States of America should want to use that to be humble and to help people. And I think right now, the biggest maybe it's spoken, maybe it's unspoken in corporate media. We speak about it a lot here. People are exhausted of the Trump chaos, exhausted by it. And that's why when Vice President Kamala Harris says we're not going back and we need to go forward, it's moving away from the chaos and the demeaning language and the bullying and the grossness and the weirdness. Governor Walz, I think, needs to highlight that and just be the authentic person and not try to be, oh, I'm the greatest debater. Just be Governor Walz and you're going to do fine and look absolutely great. We've got a lot to discuss on this show. Everybody remember, subscribe to @The Michael Cohen Show on YouTube and subscribe to patreon.com/politicalbeatdown. Now that I'm back and Michael Cohen's back, we will be doing a Patreon live. We'll come up with the day, whether that's Friday morning or Thursday. Michael and I will talk offline, but we're both home. We're both available to do it now. And we want to meet you. Patreon.com/politicalbeatdown. Let's take our first quick break of the show.
So what is Green Chef? Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for clean eating, delivering pre-portioned and prepped quality whole foods with limited processed ingredients. Green Chef sends organic, fresh produce, responsibly sourced proteins, and chef-designed recipes in every box for satisfying, nourishing, and convenient meals that make it easy to stick to a clean routine. So if the beginning of summer has you feeling farmers market vibes, look no further than Green Chef, the first certified organic meal kit company. And bring the flavors of the farmer's market to you with fresh, seasonal, organic produce in every box, plus premium proteins like organic eggs, sustainably sourced seafood, and antibiotic and hormone-free chicken. I mean, all of these get delivered right to your door. Plus, you don't have to guess what to make with your farm fresh items. With Green Chef's easy-to-follow recipes and pre-measured and prepped ingredients, you'll be serving up a restaurant-worthy meal in no time. All right, so take your clean routine further with 2 times the support, Green Chef's healthiest menu ever, and access to thousands of top-rated gyms and fitness studios worldwide from ClassPass. So for a limited time, new Green Chef subscribers will also receive, get a load of this, new Green Chef subscribers will also receive 50 free credits to use at ClassPass, about a month's worth of membership. And as usual, customers also have the option to upgrade to proteins like the organic chicken, like fair trade barramundi, and wild-caught sockeye salmon. So stick to your clean routine all day long with grab-and-go breakfast and snack options too, like protein-packed egg bites, plant-based protein shakes, and nut butter bites. I mean, I gotta be honest, I have tried Green Chef. They sent it to me at first, but now I just order it, and I order it, no joke, because it is delicious and it is easy. So go right now to greenchef.com/beatclass for 50% off your first box, plus 50 free credits with ClassPass. That's code BEATClass at greenchef.com/beatclass to get 50% off your first box, plus the 50 free ClassPass credits. I highly encourage each and every person to go ahead and to try it now, because Green Chef, it's the #1 meal kit for eating well.
Welcome back.
Should I tell you? And I wasn't bullshitting. I was telling you the truth on that. They sent me the very first time go around, hey, we're going to be a sponsor. Have you heard of us? Yeah, actually, I asked my daughter, and she said, yeah, I've heard of it. They're really good. So I ordered it, and it was fantastic. Sometimes you just don't want to order out, and you want to, have something that's sensible. And so, boom. So now I just order it. I order it all the time.
We're having tonight the post-pregnancy sushi. Tonight's the big sushi night. And for everybody asking, the baby's doing great. The baby's name is Ximena, spelled Ximena. Jimena. So lots of people in the comments asking, and she's doing great. Thank you for all your love and support. I gave a thanks at the beginning of the episode, but I know some people joined a little later, so I wanted to give you all that data. Hey, Michael Cohen, did you see the big MAGA fashion show in Long Island this weekend? Did you attend it?
No, unfortunately, as I told you, I literally just landed at 3:00 today from Rome, Italy. I was there for 3 days. I was on television there doing RAI Television, which is the state television. It was very interesting, in front of a live audience. It's been a while. The last time I did a live audience one was on Comedy Central. I did Charlemagne the God, but this was great. And so I went out to Rome for a couple of days, and craziest thing, I'm on the airplane coming back, and my ex-partner, who I haven't seen in 20 years, was on the flight.
Were they doing any MAGA fashion shows in Rome by any chance? Any MAGA fashion shows there?
No,
well, let me show you, because this is not the type of fashion shows that would exist in Rome. This is what the Trump supporters were doing yesterday.
Yeah, they have taste in Rome.
What's going on, Mogami? It sounds good, but it's not me. Feel on attack, I suggest they just come back. 'Cause they was I'm turning back to be trapped. There's no hope.
Wait. Hold on. There's like 7 people there. It almost reminds me of like when we were little kids and our parents would have, guests come over, and there were 4 of us, and, we'd end up, like banging on garbage cans and so on, pretending to perform. That's the same shit as this. I mean, does she really think that that dress is going to make the runway of Fashion Week? Holy crap. Awful's not the word for it.
That was in Long Island. But, if you, as we cover these Trump events, though, this is the type of stuff that we see. And, here's what I'll say about it. If a group of people want to do whatever that is, that cosplay, whatever, it would disturb me greatly for those people to engage in WWE cosplay fascism like that, whatever that even is. But the thing is that corporate media that should be looking at it, the same look that you gave Michael Cohen there. And for those listening just on audio, Michael Cohen gave the look that you probably, would think about if you just saw something that was like, what in the, what is that? But now this is a political party. Like the GOP is this. And one of the things that we've pushed back on here, and we have, we do videos with a group called Leaving MAGA, with Rich Logis and others, who show a path out of MAGA, is this thing has just become a bizarre cult, and it should not be what our politics is about at all. What our politics should be about is coming up with plans that deliver things for the American people. One of the reasons that Governor Walz was selected as Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate is because Governor Walz delivered and implemented plans in his state, right? With education, he wasn't taking away people's freedoms. Government was doing things for people. When we, the people, are paying taxes, although I know MAGAs don't like to do that, rather than our rights being taken away, we should also be looking to the government to say, hey, are you taking care of us? Are you providing resources for us? What are your plans?
Can I say something for a second? You know that your fashion show is shit. You may as well have it in your backyard when half the seats in the front row aren't filled. That's what I was really looking at.
But you know what? Take that a step further, though, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. Donald Trump's events, his speeches, I like to call them WWE cosplay fascist traveling circus rallies, are in front of very small audiences now. 750 people, 500 people. He'll go into a town of 5,000 people, and then he does the same thing in every one of his speeches. He'll go, there were 50,000 people outside, but Biden and Kamala, he says her name wrong because that's what they do, and Kamala, they refuse to provide the resources. So 50,000 people, they're all lined up outside, and they're not lined up outside, but he can't fill these venues anymore. But he relies on corporate media to be his messenger and to spread these things. But I want to go back to what I was saying. Then I'll show you the crowd stuff in just a moment. Politicians at a bare minimum, right? At a bare minimum should have a plan. That's like the bare minimum. We should hold their feet to the fire that they implement their plans, right? When the politicians used to say, read my lips and give a plan and not implement the plan, they'd be out. Set aside all the other crazy stuff that they'd be out for, that Donald Trump should be disqualified 10 times over. But now, not only is our politics so dumbed down because of Donald Trump, not only that, he doesn't have plans. He just has a concept of a plan, and we're supposed to act like that's normal. Fortunately, Vice President Kamala Harris is out with a new ad on that. Let's play it.
President Trump, you have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act.
If we come up with something, we're going to do it, and we're going to replace it.
You still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan. There are concepts and options we have to do that.
You have no plan. When Donald Trump was president, he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And what the Affordable Care Act has done is eliminate the ability of insurance companies to deny people with pre-existing conditions. You remember what that was like? We, over the last 4 years, have strengthened the Affordable Care Act, and now we have capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. We have capped the cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000 a year. And when I am president, we will do that for all people, understanding that access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
She was so good at the debate.
And I'm Michael Cohen, and I approve of her message. Did you see Dumpster's face when she's sitting there making code? When I'm president of the United States, he's like this. I mean, it's really truly amazing. I don't know what's happened to America. You know, one of the questions when I was in Italy doing that Rai television program, we were talking about, you know, the dangers of Italy, the dangers to Italy of a Donald Trump presidency. You know, something a lot of people don't know. You know that Italy was one of the very first founding members of NATO. 75 years ago, 1949. So I started to speak about it, and I was talking about how politicians can change. Like, for example, their prime minister, Meloni, she was a far-right winger who's now kind of centrist and maybe just slightly right of center, but she was quoting like the United States, the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution when she was at UNGA, the United Nations General Assembly. It was fantastic. People can grow. That's okay. And I would give that person the benefit of the doubt. Even if it was Donald Trump, I really would. If he was growing and saying, you know what, I didn't have a plan then, but I have a plan now. I investigated, I did examination, I did some research onto it, and I think that this would be something good. But he goes the opposite direction. He had nothing back then, so he was blank, claiming, well, I'm not really a politician. Remember, folks, when you see the accordion hands start going, you know that he's full of shit and he's lying. But now it's even worse. Now, not only does he not have a plan, does he have an idea, he's got nothing. He has a concept of a plan. That's fantastic, fantastic. And we should all just, you know, be so thankful that he has a concept of a plan. I mean, it's exactly how you want to run the United States of America, with a concept.
But just think about this too. Without a plan, he attempted, and but for that famous moment where John McCain, the late great Senator John McCain, put his thumb down and voted against Donald Trump and the Republicans' effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act would have been gone, and there would not have been a plan. again, this is why I say you watching this doesn't matter what political party is. Death doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green Party. Like, these are life or death issues. If you could not get insurance coverage with a pre-existing condition, you would die. If you can't afford prescription medications, you could die. And thanks to the Affordable Care Act, people are living and not dying because medications and resources are available. Donald Trump and these MAGAs tried everything. That's why this shouldn't be political, to take away your right to actually live, to be with your family, to go out, to read a book, to do things, to breathe. They tried to take it away, and then they didn't have a plan. And now in 2024, they don't have a plan, and they're still trying to take it away. Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Cohen. If they had a better plan, this is what debates used to be when we were talking about before. You'd have Vice President Kamala Harris say, look, I think Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, is great. Look what we did in reducing the price of insulin. We think that's great. Look what we've done with Medicare. We now have the government negotiating with pharmaceutical companies, reducing prescription drug prices, making your drugs cheaper. And now we want to take that, not just in Medicare, we want to do that writ large with people who are not on Medicare as well.
They enhanced the previous plan.
So you have that as a plan, right? Now, in a normal debate world, in a normal body politic that works, the other side would either say, hey, you're not doing it fast enough. You're going too slow. Or here's our plan. We believe that if you created entity A and made them in charge, and it would be cheaper, quicker, more efficient. But no, right now, you know what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance do? They say, we're the ones who reduced the price of insulin, and let's revoke the Affordable Care. Then they just lie. And now you're in Stupidville, and people are dying because
while you were away, one of the things I was talking with Brett about, and I was on television before that with Nicole Walz, and I brought up the topic. Many of you brigaders who were with us will remember this. I brought up this topic of called sane washing, and that's what's happening right now. I don't know why. I don't know why people are doing it, and it's not just Republicans. It's independents as well. They're taking stupidity that we all know is not true, and we know that it's bullshit to the nth degree, and we are sane washing Trump and Shady Vance's comments in order to give it some sense of normalcy. Are they that fucking abnormal that we as the listener have to interpret what they're saying for others in order to make it sound that they're not as fucked up and stupid in terms of what they're saying as what they are saying? I'm so confused with this concept of sane washing. And I went on and on and on about it. And not because, that this is a great topic. This is a terrible topic for the American people. We don't want to have to sane wash our leader. Look, Ben brought an interesting topic up. It turned around, and it's under Joe Biden that they went ahead and they started to change the way that insurance companies, the way that pharmaceutical companies can charge, and how much money that the American citizen should have to pay per annum for medication. And you're right, Ben. Trump and Shady Vance each went out at rallies and other meetings and took credit for reducing the cost of insulin. That was part of their plan. Maybe it was Donald's concept plan. The only problem is the only one that knew of this concept plan was Donald himself. But the ones who effectuated it was Biden and Harris. plain and simple. So why are we trying to whitewash it? Why are we trying to sanewash it?
And it's the same. I could do any topic. I could go infrastructure, right? Donald Trump had the concept of a plan of infrastructure, promised infrastructure week. And again, this type of stuff is life or death. It's not just a word, infrastructure, right? If bridges break, people die, right? If roads are inaccessible, people die. Like, we need better infrastructure. President Biden did it. Republicans, the MAGAs mostly, voted against it. Then they go and just, rather than have a debate that they can do it better, and here's their plan, they're leeches. They're leeches, Michael Cohen. They just take credit for the plan and they go, we did it. And what they rely on is that people are so busy in their day-to-day life. I saw it when I was in the hospital with my wife. I mean, to see the people working multiple shifts, working until 4 a.m. And then I see the TV on, right? And the TV, is playing news, and I'm not going to change that TV. No way. I'm going to say we should change the channel when I'm there. But they're sane washing. So if you're someone who's working, one job, two jobs, super hard, and you're not like following the politics every day, you turn it on. You don't know who gave you infrastructure. You don't know who gave you healthcare. And it's the job, though, of the fourth estate, it used to be, of the press, of the media, to provide people with educated information, objective reality. Even if your objective reality pisses off one side, good, piss them off. Your objective reality is the objective reality. Now you have the media kowtow to right-wing MAGA, which metastasized like tumbleweed. It grew and grew and grew. And now they're like, we're just the other side. So corporate media is like, well, we're going to have to give the democracy side. And I guess we're going to have to give the fascist side. And then people will just kind of have to figure out, and we'll present both like it's the same. Rather than saying they're lying, they're telling the truth, and this is why it matters to you without fear or favor. That's what the media needs to do. That's what we're building here, and that's why we're going to keep on growing. We'll be right back after our last quick break of the show.
It's hot outside, and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend that you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA, and they use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. And you know what? They feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature, again, all night long, no matter the weather, so that you get better sleep every single night. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7%. Get a look, 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. So there's no more gross odors too. Go to trymiracle.com/beat to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code BEAT, B-E-A-T, at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save, get a load of this, an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Now upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. And go to trymiracle.com/beat and use the code BEAT to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40%. Again, that's trymiracle.com/beat to treat yourself And thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
Just accept irritation as a normal part of shaving? Henson Shaving asked that question, and they didn't like the answer. So you know what they did? They decided to do something about it. They brought aerospace precision to the world of shaving. I mean, their razors are manufactured in the same shop that made parts for a Mars rover and the International Space Station. That level of precision, it translates to a gentler shave for your skin. So it's not about gimmicks or moisturizing strips. It's about fundamentally changing how a razor interacts with your skin. It's time to say no to subscriptions and yes to a razor that'll last you a lifetime. So visit hensonshaving.com/beat to pick the razor for you and use code BEAT and you'll get 2 years. Listen, 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. So just make sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com. That's hensonshaving.com/beat and use code BEAT. 100 razor blades, and quite frankly, that's a lot of blades. That's blades. Like, blades.
Cohen, you see, this is what Donald Trump is sending out. Limited edition, he goes, this was like the campaign email. Before you post the photo, you posted it. You may have seen it. I was going to ask you, but I'm glad that you showed it. Trump, the email says, here's the most patriotic flag in all of existence. And you would say, what do you think it is? Well, for Donald Trump, it is the Make America Great Again red flag. And Trump, this is how he campaigns. This was the fundraising email.
Can I say something to you about this, Ben?
Mm-hmm.
As you know, Ben, as I was coming home today on the Van Wyck, going to the LIE in order to head back to Manhattan from JFK Airport, there were 3 trucks. And there are always these Ford F-150 pickup trucks. In the olden days, like Dukes of Hazzard, you know, they had on one side of the truck in the back, they would have a flag of the United States of America. And on the other side, they would have a Confederate flag. And right off the bat, you knew exactly who and what these people are. You knew that they were the racists. They were the fucking hillbilly jerk-offs, drunks, you know, driving around with their flags, trying to be all, Nazi-like. Now they replace the Confederate flag with the MAGA flag. We know exactly who they are. And it's so scary and it's so pathetic. I just find the whole thing to be so pathetic, almost as pathetic as that idiot that was dancing on the stage, trying to get the 3 people that were there in the audience, right, you know, all hyped up for his big concert and so on. So you know what, Ben? Look, normally I've been waiting a little bit too long to give the 2-finger salute to the stupid woman that was there with her fucking Trump dress and the back with the cape that had Trump's face on it, and this idiot wearing the all red, trying to appease the 6 people that were there in the audience. Fuck you. Fuck you for trying to make normalcy out of something so absolutely stupid, so irrelevant, so inconsequential, and so racist, sexist, misogynistic, xenophobic, homophobic, Islamophobic, transphobic, anti-Semitic. That's what Trump is. That's what Shady Vance is. So you got your Shady Vance von Schitzenpants. All right, that's what you got. And why do you want it? I don't know. I truly don't know.
You know, one of the things I've been talking a lot about in my interviews, and I've been focusing a lot on it because it has not got any attention in the corporate media, but it's become a big problem. You know, the MAGAs have been really infesting the youth with their dangerous ideology, and specifically boys. And one of the things that they do is they start with kind of the gaming influencers, and then they bring them up to kind of the right-wing podcasters. And before you know it, these boys are trapped in these echo chambers where they're sharing very dangerous and very misogynistic messages, belittling women, these incorrect ideas of masculinity. And I think whether Democrats, pro-democracy community, whatever you want to call it, has been afraid to talk about that, has been afraid to talk about masculinity, in these terms. And so in its absence, MAGA has been targeting these boys for a long time and stunting their growth into men. And I just see it with these college kids, and I see it with a lot the immaturity. I see it with the behavior online, the treatment of women, the belittling of people, the mocking people who are disabled. And to me, it's so important to reclaim that, because it could be a very dangerous future if that's what's taking place. So I brought on, for example, Democratic Congress member Colin Allred, who was a star football player at Baylor University, the captain of his team, 5 seasons in the NFL on the Tennessee Titans, then went to Berkeley Law School. And so I asked Democratic Congress member Allred about this, about the concept of masculinity, when people like Donald Trump and Ted Cruz are out there targeting young boys and trying to act like their behavior is alpha and masculine. Let me show you right here, Democratic Congress member Colin Allred, what he said right here about Ted Cruz and people like him being able to even exist in the types of locker rooms that Congress member Allred led. Here, play this clip.
Ted Cruz would not last a second in a locker room. He would not last a second in an NFL locker room or my college locker room, because we could spot guys like him a mile away. We called them me guys. The me guys were the ones who are always looking out for themselves first, who didn't care about the team, who thought that they were they were hot stuff. And they were also the ones who we would always find a way to kind of get them, chew them up and spit them out, because we couldn't have them on our teams. And when I was captain of the football team at Baylor, and if I ever saw somebody like that, I'd go right at them. I'd go right at them until I broke down whatever was causing them to think they were so special and make them to get on board with the rest of us, because we're trying to do something together. It's not about you. And we all have to remember that we are part of a cohesive community. As John Lewis used to tell us, we might have come here on different ships, but we're all in the same boat now. We're all Americans. And when you have leaders who think that they're more important than this entire project, a 250-year project that all of us, over 300 million of us are a part of, then you have to make sure that they are no longer in positions of leadership. And so we got less than 40 days here. And I want everyone to know that here in Texas, we can make sure we get rid of Ted Cruz. So get involved with us. Go to colinallred.com. If you're in Texas, make a plan to vote. Check your voter registration status. Make sure you get out to vote. We can do this.
And Cohen, this is because when Ted Cruz, let me show you though how the MAGA Republicans are addressing the youth though. And again, it's so important that I think you and I cover this stuff, because I want to educate our audience to be aware of this for their families and to spread this.
Going to get on this network. It's why I constantly say it. One thing you're going to always get on Midas Touch Network, you're going to get facts, not our opinions. I hate when people do that. It's not my opinion. Listen to Congressman Allred and listen to what he's saying. If anybody played any type of ball, right, where it's a team, just because the pitcher has a great game, right, doesn't mean that, center fielder who maybe didn't even shag a single fly, right? Maybe he batted, maybe he brought in an RBI. It's a team effort. No one person does it all ever. And that's why when, for example, whoever it was that they're interviewing, right, they always say, listen, this is not about me. It's the team played great. Offense, defense, it makes no difference. That's the point he's trying to make. Trump, it's always about him. No matter what the topic is, it comes back to him.
And then here, for example, there was Ted Cruz speaking to a youth group about, and liberal women are unsatisfied because of have you heard about the weenies on these liberal men? Here, watch what Ted Cruz is saying. Here, play this clip.
Left is so bad. They're so unhappy. They're so pissed off. And by the way, if you were a liberal woman and you had to sleep with those weenies, you'd be pissed too.
And here he is talking
He
about.
looks like Grandpa Al Lewis, doesn't he?
Here he is talking about Mickey Mouse banging Pluto again to young people. This is directed at younger people. Here, play this clip.
I think there are people who are misguided, trying to drive, Disney stepping in saying, in every episode now they're going to have, Mickey and Pluto going at it. Like, really?
Thank you for that image, Senator.
But it's just like, come on, guys. Like these are kids, and you could always shift to Cinemax if you want that. Like, why do you have? It used to be, look, I'm a dad. Like, you used to be able to put your kids on the Disney Channel and be like, all right, something innocuous will happen.
Again, I don't know what it is that he's watching, but here's the thing. These are serious.
By the way, can you name a single Disney show? Can any of our brigaders name a single Disney show that has Mickey or Minnie or Pluto all going at it with one another? Some menage a trois? What, right? I mean,
you know where that probably exists? In his weird right-wing Twitter X echo chamber videos that he gets fed to him.
I've actually never even heard of. I've never even heard of this.
Oh,
I mean, it's
because they're not serious people, and they're not. And here's the thing: that gets normalized as like the other side now, like, and it shouldn't be. It's why I like, and I want to show you this, Cohen. Governor Josh Shapiro of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on Neil Cavuto, bring this back to why we do this show. Like, we need to be this. These are serious times. We need to get serious and have serious leaders. It's like, wake up. Here, watch this.
It's just a messy environment for debate where the Democratic candidate will be targeted. You are part of the problem, and you know how that goes. So how do you respond to that?
Yeah. Well, look, Neil, I would say there are serious challenges in the world, from overseas, as you and I spoke about at the beginning of this interview, to the port, which you just mentioned. And these are serious times. And I think it calls for serious people to conduct serious work every single day. I know you won't find this to be a shock. I don't think Donald Trump is a serious person. I don't think that he has serious ideas to deal with these serious challenges that we face. And so I think you'll probably see tonight in this vice presidential debate a clear contrast between the vision of Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And I would hope that it would also be a reminder to people of the chaos that Donald Trump brought when he had the keys to the White House 4 years ago. I don't think we want to go back to that. Just the fact that there are challenges in the world doesn't mean that Donald Trump has the solutions. I think many of these challenges are as a result of Donald Trump's policies and things he set in motion, and we need serious people right now to address that.
I don't know. I think the alert here, Governor, is that you're not supporting Donald Trump, but thank you for clarifying that. But
by the way, that's the second alert of the day, Neil. I had no idea you were an intern for Jimmy Carter, so we both provided some breaking news today.
Indeed we did, and I show every...
Take us out, Cohen. Reflect on this moment as we're heading into the debate.
Yeah, let me say this. And we only have, 32 days, something like that, left before the election. I'm exhausted. I'm legitimately exhausted, not from the airplane ride. I'm exhausted from the stupidity that is emanating from the Republicans, from the whole GOP, and all of these folks that are trying to sanewash the stupidity of all of these members, from the Ted Cruzes to the Shady Vances to the Matt Gaetzes to the Marjorie Toilet Greens to the Lauren Boeberts, to the Donald Trumps, to the Lara Trumps, to the Don Juniors, to the Erics. I mean, it's one stupid shit grift after another, after another, after another, then followed by another. And it's like, you just don't know what level of, it's mentally draining is right. And I'm physically and emotionally exhausted, but we can't afford to allow that to happen. I know it's much easier said than done. Sometimes you just want to just turn on Cinemax, as Ted Cruz said, and not watch any of the news. You can't do that. You can't do that. You got to make sure that you're registered to vote. Make sure that come November 5th, that you get out there to the ballot box. You take as many people as you can with you. Make sure that you vote up and down blue. What we need is a massive blue wave, because the only way that we get rid of these animals is you vote them out of office. That's our superpower.
Michael Cohen. Want to thank everybody one more time for all of your incredible wishes. Let me give you some programming notes, though. So I saw a lot of people asking when the debate is going to be taking place. It's 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. It's going to be on CBS. We'll be having a pre-show here at the Midas Touch Network. So we'll see you in just a few hours here. Make sure you join us for the pre-show. We've got Congress member Jake Auchincloss on as a guest. So around 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Come back, join us. You'll see me and my brothers here. We got some great interviews planned. We'll give you the pre-show about what to expect leading up to the debate. We just dropped a new video on the YouTube channel right now, so check that out. I covered Donald Trump's speech in Wisconsin, so after watching this, you can check that out. Make sure you join Michael Cohen's YouTube channel at The Michael Cohen Show on YouTube. Get that to 250,000 subscribers. The link is in the description below. Support our sponsors. They really help grow this show, and there's some great products and services. Jordy Vetzum, Michael Cohen uses them all, and he talks to me about them a lot, how much he likes them. And then also make sure you're subscribed to the Mea Culpa audio podcast as well.
Yes.
Wherever you get your audio podcast, just search.
I do have Ron Filipkowski on right now on the brand new episode that just dropped. And
Midas Touch editor-in-chief Ron Filipkowski, and he'll be doing a live chat during the debate on our new Substack, MidasPlus.com. Filipkowski's leading all our editorial efforts, including the new Substack, MidasPlus.com there. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. It's good to be back. Good to be with you, Michael Cohen. Good to be with you, Brigaders.
Big hugs and kisses to Sochi and to Jimena.
Absolutely. Michael and I will discuss when we're going to do our live show now that he's back from Europe and I'm back from the hospital. And we will do a Zoom meeting, with all of you. And we'll come up with the date when we'll do our Zoom meeting soon. We really want to meet you. So join patreon.com/politicalbeatdown. We'll meet you there. You can ask us any questions that you have. Whatever. Nothing is off limits. Patreon.com/politicalbeatdown. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And it should be a very good debate. Shout out to the Midas Mighty. Shout out to the Brigaders.
Thank you, guys.